So
That's very good. That's very good.
okay then.
That's very.
Well, a most lovely evening to you, Mr. Dennis.
Oh,
It's good to be back with you again.
it's good to be here. It's good to be here again. Yes, let the tapes roll, as they say.
Yes.
But
So, how is your house doing? Have you killed any more ants? Have you?
ants. Now it's been the slow death march of the carpenter ant colony, and as they are slowly but surely eating the poison, the green syrupy poison injected into the wood by my, not to say insect elimination company, but insect control company, as he says, they will never be exterminated. You know that story. So the ants, though, are coming out, and I'm seeing them on the staircase and on the basement floor, and they're just little black dots, and they almost look like they're dead until I kick them a little bit, and then they move, and then I scrunch them, and because my shoes have big gaps in the soles for the tread, sometimes I don't kill them well enough, or they fake it. And
They
then I
fake
walk by
dying.
and they fake dying, and I kick them again, and suddenly they're fucking running. This time I squish them until their thorax and their anthrax are separated by the crunch of my boot. So that's what's going on there. The other day, I swept up about 30 of these little bastards, and in the dustpan, there were a bunch of them that were dying, and in an ironic twist, which is in their favor, showing that maybe the black ant colony does have some good karma. When I lifted up the trash can and threw them in the trash can, they landed on yesterday's reclamation from the front sidewalk that some stranger had left, which was a half a dozen cupcakes with very sweet frosting. That's where they landed. I didn't bother to kill them. They may thrive, or at least they will die eating chocolate and icing. That is the definition of fucking irony.
Wow. So you're being exterminated, but then you get a sweet, sweet death.
A reprieve. Or for some there were several. Some will die happier.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe
your last meal is delicious. Huh.
Or they thrive and survive. Imagine the stories they'll tell their grand aunts
Yes.
and grand cousins, grand aunt cousins.
Grand nieces, grand uncles.
You're having trouble imagining it. Are
Yes.
you dull-witted again, like you were the last time?
Am I not always?
No. Sometimes you're more dull-witted than others. So there's variations. There's degrees.
Okay.
The least dull you can be is just sharp enough, not to cut by any stretch,
No.
but to perhaps separate the skin into two parts.
Which is not cutting.
Well, no, an indention,
Separating.
like a dull knife, like a butter knife would do an indention.
Well,
You take the knife away for just a second, it looks like it was there, but that's as sharp as you can get, as sharp as a dull knife. But my lot in life, you're the producer, you do what you do, whatever it is, and I show up, and
yeah.
here I am. You don't have to be smart, I guess, to be able to do this.
I mean,
or maybe better put, you don't have to act smart.
there's so many
maybe-
podcasts out there with such
Right.
dull-witted
Well,
talent,
sure.
as we are called,
Most of
because we are called talent
Most-
because we're the ones being recorded. So
them.
whether or not we have
Is
any
that
talent,
Is that talent with a capital T, or is it all caps?
it's a capital L. Talent.
I noticed that your dressing room is identical to your office, is identical to your recording studio, is the same as your man cave. Need I go on? You're not exactly rolling in the wealth.
I live in this one room.
of
As you mentioned last episode, clearly I'm sharing this flat in Brooklyn with a bunch of other podcasters.
Right, other dull-witted podcasters who haven't even gathered yet that they're all podcasters. They don't.
They just talk into mics. Yeah.
They don't listen to each other. All they do is fucking talk all the time, and they say things that nobody's interested in, including every other dull podcaster. And so it's just a bunch of mumbling,
Yes.
lookalikes like you with shiny foreheads and bulbous appendages that are inexplicable. By the way, is that growing from your forehead what it looks like to be a human ankle?
Wow. What a callback. No, I'm not growing any ankles from my forehead. What episode was that? Was it episode 2?
Oh God, I don't know what you mean. I don't know. Why does this come up before? Now that you mention it, it does. Yes. I forgot.
What is wrong with you, Dennis? Oh Jesus.
What?
Yes.
What? That I did it the same thing twice?
Yes. The same.
We didn't have any listeners. We didn't have anybody listening to episode 2. What does that matter?
Hey. I have huge news. Via a podcasting metrics app that I use, we have finally breached the charts. That you know the top. I think your top 40 charts or whatever. We are on the top. We are on the top charts of. Hold yourself. We are at currently. We are currently at position 550 on the comedy charts in Uruguay.
In what?
In Uruguay, the nation in South America.
Oh,
the Uruguay comedy charts for podcasts. We are currently at number 550.
Out of how many?
I don't know, but
like 555
or maybe 1,000. But
right.
someone in Uruguay has listened once probably,
right?
And as such
scored it
because the podcasting comedy charts in Uruguay are so there's so little competition. So anyway, muchas gracias a los uruguayanos. Thank you for listening. So,
well, that's so. But if we're ranked 550,
yes,
what's the mathematics then?
There's 549 that are more comedic
I
than
understand
us
that. Here's the point, though, that according to one person's view, of course, but if there are in total 549 podcast listeners at any given moment, the odds are good that none of them are listening to us. If there's 550, the odds increase and on and upwards.
I don't think it works like that.
No, it does.
Well, okay.
It does. What do you mean?
I mean, with a ranking, I think what they have is
our pie.
What they have is that there are maybe 1,000 people that have listened to podcasts in Uruguay in the comedy category, which for some reason we are in, and
well, that's a good sign.
Well,
they could have put us in drama,
or or
slapstick.
Well,
or dipstick.
We are pretty slapstick. But yeah, so I think the idea is that there are 549 other podcasts that are more listened to than ours, which means that we got
listening, not quality.
Well,
this is not
it's a chart.
Somebody said you rank.
I don't.
You rank in comedic content. That's not it.
I don't think it's that someone gave feedback with stars or something.
They just looked at
I think it's that
the hits.
Someone accidentally clicked on our link and started a download, such that we got one more download than the 551st.
51.
They didn't get any. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how these analytics algorithms work.
I know how to say this, that when it comes to the degree of listening and the number of listeners who listen,
yes,
we rank 550th.
Yes. But what does that
mean? We
mean?
are more frequently listened to than 440 other of the 1,000 that they checked.
Yes, sure. So,
and alternatively, 549 were listened to more frequently, much more frequently at the top.
So anyway, thank you, Uruguay.
Thank you.
That was our.
So I say Uruguay. When you said Uruguay, I had no idea what you were talking about.
Uruguay.
It's that Uruguay. Yeah. What? Is that funny?
I'm not Uruguay.
Is that a funny?
Uruguay.
Look it up on Wikipedia. Look at the pronunciation. See what it says.
I speak Spanish, motherfucker.
It's
Uruguay. Uruguay.
It's a Urakian language there.
It's a what?
Urakian.
Urakian. Yeah.
Language.
Yeah.
There are nuances.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you say? Uruguay? Uruguay?
In English, I would say Uruguay. In Spanish, I would say Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Yes.
Uruguay.
That brings me to an anecdote that I can bestow upon our listener from Uruguay. When I met my wife, we were in Denmark, and she knew pretty good English, but was still learning. And she got confused because everyone used to say, "Hey, we're gonna go meet some guys today. We're gonna go over there. I know a couple guys." And for her in Spanish, guy is spelled Gay. So she thought we were talking about other people. We're talking about going to meet a group of homosexuals, gays. And so she thought that everyone was just meeting up with all of these gay people all the time. But turns out it was a pronunciation issue, and
which of course would have been fine, but just wasn't.
Of course. No, yeah, there was no concern about meeting up with gay people, but it was this.
Although she might have had a concern about you, and so that might have led to a direct conversation.
Right. Well, but it was always she was always sort of confused that
sure.
that why is everyone that we're going to meet homosexual? That's pretty weird. Yeah. But it's just one of those weird things where you can misunderstand someone and think that they mean one thing when they mean another.
Right. Happens all the time. What a fascinating anecdote from another culture. Now, the thing that we wonder about. Well, this brings to mind the fact that since we've spoken last, I've seen portions of Bohemian Rhapsody at least 3 more times. And watching the wonderful actor play Mercury is astounding. And what I loved Queen and I love Mercury, but I wasn't aware of any of his own personal stories or drama, which apparently was a great subject of,
really,
some level of scandal in England and a lot of tabloids, and his bisexuality became a huge issue in the press, which caused him no end of grief. And of course, he died of AIDS. But his crowning achievement was very clearly, as the movie astoundingly takes you through the worldwide Live Aid concert.
Yes,
where they were a late admission, and where they stunned the show and were the most amazing part of the event.
Yes.
And during their act, the donations for the cause skyrocketed. But the entire issue, personally, of him grappling as a married man with his bisexuality and how that was handled in the movie with honesty and respect and not a whole lot of recrimination.
No.
Sorrowful.
Yes.
And of course he was in a remarkable position quickly as a rising star. Queen was faster climbing the charts and staying on the charts than about any band, I think. I mean, it was remarkable. They went from playing clubs in London to a state tour to a national tour in just a matter of years. Mm-hmm. But the story of them creating, beginning with Mercury, the Night at the Opera, which of course features Bohemian Rhapsody as the 6-minute single that they released. Flip side being I Love My Car, the single. But the character in the movie that plays the producer who refused to release Bohemian Rhapsody as one side of the single was played by Mike Myers. And I saw it 4 or 5 times before I realized it.
No. Really?
Yes.
I have seen that movie, and holy shit, was I moved by it. But god damn it,
Right.
Mike Myers was that. Wow.
Yes. With a bit of an Irish lilt.
Well, I mean, Mike Myers can put on accents, but
Oh God.
holy shit!
Yeah,
now I have to see it again.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that part of it just the other day, but it's astounding, and apparently much of Freddie Mercury's voice and recordings are actually used in the film. But as a stand-in for that, a Canadian singer was recorded and lipped over. What's the actor's name? You got to look it up so we mention his name. Malek.
Rami Malek. Yeah.
Malek was just.
I was under the impression that he was doing a lot of that singing.
No, actually not. He could sing, and he did sing, and it was important for him to be able to sing to perform, because in fact, it's the song that everything is around, of course. But they did. I don't know that, and maybe some of his stuff at the piano, or a little bit of this or that. Like for example, the when he first met the band, and their singer quit, and he just burst out in a tune.
What an amazing scene
that
was.
him?
That was an amazing scene. Yes.
And he said, "What did he say as he turned around and left?" Thanks for the offer. I'll consider it.
Right.
Something like that. So cocky.
I'll consider your offer.
What a cocky way to leave a job interview with. Like,
so right.
It's like
an interview that the drummer said, not with those teeth.
Right. And what an amazing portrayal of someone with some true talent, but also I liked how they put in the racial element. There was some racial bias as well as homophobic bias against him.
Right.
Where they were like, well, you're kind of foreign. I don't know if we can accept you. But
yeah. And
again, I don't know how. I haven't researched how true any of the movie was, but it was an amazing movie.
I've read a bit about it, and it seems to be holding pretty true.
Yeah.
According to those who worked on it, and it was with permission and authorization and all that stuff. Incredible all the way around. And when they ended up being scalded by the reviews of the release of Night of the Opera, in particular the single.
Because who has a 6-minute single?
Yeah, nobody did.
Right.
Nobody did. Although American Pie
is long as well. Yes.
Was and in fact we should check that, but that preceded this. So not undone. What was the record that Miami Beach pointed to in the Michael Myers character in the producer's office? And he pointed to a gold record, and he said, "Wow, this record, blah, blah." And he said it quietly, and the producer mumbled, "Yeah, that was mine." And Miami Beach mumbled something like, "That certainly broke the mold." But the audio is poor, and/or my hearing is poor, and I couldn't quite catch that album. But I wondered what it was, because I suspected later that it might have been. One of these historically longer tunes that we did in fact listen to. And Sunshine When She's Gone was probably longer, 4.5 minutes. We can check that too.
That's not so long though. That song feels really short because it's so repetitive. In a way that Bohemian Rhapsody is not at all repetitive. They don't go back. They don't go back at all on any lyrics.
And did I say to you on the podcast about showing up at the karaoke night in the band?
Yes, and you mentioned about Bohemian Rhapsody and someone doing a great a cappella version of that. Yes.
So last night in Kalamazoo at Bell's Brewery, their eccentric cafe, their outside beer garden, they had a band called Red Sea Pedestrians and another band called the Corn-Fed Girls, each do a 5-song set as an introduction to their 50th anniversary, first time ever performed Abbey Road from beginning to end, with 11 musicians who together played over 40 instruments. And that hour and a half was astounding.
Whoa.
Astounding. Sold out crowd, hundreds and hundreds of people. And they did Abbey Road from opening note to closing note, just word for word, note for note, with 11 musicians playing over 40 different instruments.
That's pretty wild.
No pauses. And for the encore, came out and did Twist and Shout to a rollicking, screaming crowd.
That's ambitious to say, I'm going to replicate one of the best-selling albums ever before you tonight.
This was a follow-up to about 8 years ago. They released at the State Theater in Kalamazoo, Michigan, after each of them performed a 5-song set, the entire Beatles album, their best album ever, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, word for word, note for note, 11 people, 46 instruments.
There's a lot of notes in Sgt. Pepper's.
Did you realize the 2 songs that were supposed to be on Sgt. Pepper's that were released early because the Beatles had a 5-month hiatus from a release, let alone a hit? Mm-hmm. And so Epstein took 2 songs that they were saving for that album and released them. One was called Abbey Lane, mm-hmm. and the other was called Strawberry Fields.
You mean Penny Lane?
Penny Lane, not Abbey Lane. Okay. Penny Lane, yes.
And Strawberry Fields forever, yes. Wow.
And what's amazing is how corny the video is for Penny Lane, where it basically just shows the Beatles walking around and at one point riding horses and then sitting at a table in the field all made up with chandeliers getting off their horses, and Ringo looks like he almost falls off and lands on another horse, and then
but that's all acceptable because that was
back in
before music videos were a thing.
That was right.
So the music video was just cut together footage that they could come up with from whenever that.
But what's heartwarming, what's both heartwarming and pathetic is John Lennon walking the streets near Penny Lane, and what they do with the cameras just show him looking around, and it's the same clip, like 4 or 5 times in a 3-minute space. It's like, you got to be kidding me! Yeah, show him walking somewhere else. I mean, it's like, wow, it was barely interesting the first time, let alone repetitions. And then inexplicably, Paul, they're handed their guitars, and I think it's George Harrison, actually, mild mannered George Harrison, flips the table over, and then they show John Lennon walking again. I mean, it was
okay.
It's linked to it.
So I don't know what this is about, but this will be in the show notes at happyhour.fm/020, episode number 20. Holy cow!
Happy birthday!
We're almost old enough to drink in America.
Imagine when we were number 10 in the Uruguay hit list for comedy, we were 896.
Exactly.
And here we've climbed over 340 spots.
Yes.
And because there's only 550 listeners in all of Uruguay, we have exactly one person listening to us some of the time and then switching.
Right.
And I don't, I mean, how long do you listen to this drivel and before you switch? You can't track that. You told me, right, in the metrics.
No, you can't know exactly when people turn off.
A hit is a hit.
Yeah, I joked that it was whenever you said good evening, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I think I responded to probably more like when you said good evening.
Yes,
I think I recall that. We could check. You can post it on the show notes. What you should do in each show notes is post all the other shows so that
they're all there. So they're all, you can click around. They're all there.
Oh God, you're so brilliant the way you put this together.
It's like, man, I saw the most depressing. It's a depressing liberal pun meme on the internet today that I want to share with you. It was a photo of the actress Betty White. You know who that is?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And the caption was, the first thing anyone says when they've heard that there's a mass shooting. Isn't that goddamn depressing?
Well, well,
It's both.
yes,
It's both. It's both.
and a little challenging for me to understand immediately. I had to apologize for my stunned silence as I tried to figure out what, in fact, they said. But now, yes, the only thing worse than stumbling on it is understanding it. So, yes.
Yes, I agree. Anyway, we might cut that out.
So we have a new poll today. I think it's recent that Trump, who had chided Joe Biden for his gaffe about saying that.
So many gaffes. Yes, one of the gaffes that I heard was that he said that that poor people are just as good as white people.
Oh yeah, right. This one was.
But since then he's had another one. That was also
and it was,
equally awkward.
We care about the facts, not the truth.
Oh fuck! He didn't say that.
Not good.
But
yeah,
what a fucking double standard! That if Trump said that, people would be like, "Yeah,
well,
sure,
that was the point.
Whatever."
That was the point of MSNBC, who said this is Rich, a man who says this type of thing on average for this entire presidency 13 times a day.
Yes.
On average, over thousands, has the audacity to point to someone else and say, that's a gaffe.
Like, we used to have this word gaffe that meant something, but then Trump came along and it was just like, everything out of his mouth would potentially be known as a gaffe, so I guess none of it is.
That gaffe is a wooden hook that was used to pull people off the stage during the vaudevillian days if they weren't funny. And so it was there. And in my history, it's a fishing gaff, which I think is much more apropos to Trump than the wooden hook. This is a fishing gaff that is, in fact, a sharpened hook that you use to spear the fish through his gill plates and lurch him into the boat, which, in fact, should be applied to the whale, the orange whale of a blob that we call President Trump. The fish gaff is appropriate. How dare he? How dare he?
So it's like a harpoon.
Yes, which is long and is thrown with a pointed end.
And the gaff is how is the gaff thrown?
The gaff is in your hand and it's used as a hook. To hook a fish out.
Okay, so once you've brought the fish close, you reach in there with your Captain Hook.
A harpoon has a gaff hook on the back of it. So if the harpoon goes through the whale and comes through, that the hook at the end hooks it, because during the crazy run, that spear that's thrown might go all the way through. But anyway,
apart from fishing terminology, what a depressing state we're in. Where, oh my God, if the Democratic candidate has made one small little untruth, let's all throw that person under the bus. But then on the other side, we've got lying motherfucker all the time.
Every day.
Every
day.
Maybe one out of every two sentences is legit, true. But
you want to post a little image of the president. Take a look at what came out today and him being interviewed on the lawn where it's apparently exceedingly hot. And he's sweating like a fucking pig. And as he's sweating, he's talking about how the Democrats play the race card when they don't have any of the cards to play. And the image connected to the language and his sweaty, bloated, narcissistic, just unbelievable demeanor is like pushing through the looking glass and wondering, what happened here?
Mm-hmm.
What happened here? What did people let happen here? Purposely deciding not to vote.
I guess.
Not to go.
What
did they think?
Yeah. The media empire that was against Hillary was so epic and had so many viewers that And not that Hillary was the best candidate ever, but
the media empire.
I mean,
how about the Russian empire?
Yeah,
Did you hear what Trump said about Russia?
No.
He says, well, they call it Russia now. You know, it used to be the Soviet Union, and then they just decided to change the name to Russia. So, you know, that's probably fake news too. I mean, it's like he didn't know that it was one of many countries in the Soviet bloc. And the amazing thing is,
of course he doesn't. He doesn't.
Any sixth grader in an elementary school knows this in their history books.
Yeah,
knows this. Well, and you know, he visited the hospital, and of course, the 6 victims of the shooting refused to see him. So they trotted out a baby who was brought back to the hospital.
Yes, I shared this.
You know,
there's a brilliant article on Slate.com that I shared today on the social medias that, because you brought it up, I will share on in our show notes. That is just, first of all, it's brilliantly written. But it talks about, you know, how it must feel to look back, because this baby in 12 years is going to look back and he's going to be able to read, because they're going to only be able to read English because they were going to be adopted by an English-speaking family. They're going to be able to read about exactly how they were misused as a prop by these. And the thing about the thing about Trump and Melania is how fake they are. There's no real emotion. There's no real. Trump never talks about being a father. He never talks about his pride of being a father, or about his children at all, except for Ivanka, because she's hot, which is all he wants to say. But the rest of his children, as we mentioned in the last episode, poor little Baron, he never says, "Oh, I'm so proud of my kids." He's never human in that way. And for sure, Melania is not, related to these people, and it doesn't give a damn about any of them. And right. they pose with this baby where it's just like the worst possible photo shoot of people that don't really care about babies ever, holding a baby, being like, and showing their always on, smile of, "Hey, this is us. Look, we have a baby."
Thumbs up.
There was a thumbs up in the goddamn photo, and it's just so disgusting. Without even talking about all the shit that the baby had to go through, and how his parents, threw themselves on top of him, breaking his bones so that they could take the bullets. That it's just like fuck. Anyway,
it's astounding. Listen to Bill Maher's and link to Bill Maher's opening from this past Sunday, where in his opening monologue he says, they all rejected him. I mean, here you are, you wake up and you say, "Oh my God, I wake up from surgery, and there I have this fat blob of an orange president and this scowling, strange-looking woman, and the first thing that crosses your mind is, oh my God, I've died and gone to fucking hell."
Yes.
Standing over you is this grinning, gaseous blob and his scowling trophy wife. People are like, "Shit, I must have died and went to hell."
So keep calling Melania scowling. I mean, all the images we could show of her scowling. I mean, what a miserable situation we're in, and all mounting and mounting and mounting. During the Nixon years, and before him, the Roosevelt years, these national presidential administrative tragedies play themselves out in a painstakingly long and complicated and nuanced way that drags on for years. And this is by far the most remarkable and will be the most studied, analyzed, and reported on. The record that Lincoln has about books is going to be shattered shattered by what happens over the course of the next decade in these first and only 4 years of this freaking dickhead.
Well, Trump doesn't have any books to record. Jesus.
What's that?
Trump doesn't own any books, but you were probably talking about
the number of books that are written about Lincoln is, you can Google it, I think it's 38 or 39, works.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm saying that will be eclipsed.
Yeah.
Not that Lincoln wrote books that were written about him. Go back to your apartment in Brooklyn. How is it living with all those other podcasters? So I've turned to a St. James. I lost the beer I had somewhere. I don't know what I did with it when I was setting up and doing my homework for the podcast.
Right, homework.
Yes, you gave me a homework assignment.
Yes, I did. So I sent you earlier today an amazing video of a Letterman interview with Bill Hader, because I was researching Bill Hader after our previous podcast, and I stumbled upon this video where people have used this deep learning technology, AI stuff, to make it look like Bill Hader turns into Tom Cruise and Seth Rogen. He does. He briefly went into Seth Rogen.
Did they image Seth Rogen?
If you paid attention, yes, it does. They totally pulled into Seth Rogen. So what this is there's this technology now that is going to make any video that you ever see in the future suspect. Yes, because you cannot believe. There's this famous one, like the very first one that was ever really published about this was of Obama, and they did this thing where because what you need is a lot of video footage of a particular person, and then you can make it look like that person is saying anything that you want them to say. And
so the video was, you had said that he turned into him, and I wouldn't use that description. I would say that the innermost facial features of Bill Hader became the innermost features of Tom Cruise in a way that was subtle and very, very creepy.
Yes, but it was done Bill Hader was doing his impression of whatever person he was doing.
Right.
But then someone came along and put on and used computers to make it look like he actually turned into that person. Which was scary as fuck.
Or that in my very first instant of recognition, what I thought I was seeing was Bill Hader not only doing a spot on of Tom Cruise's voice, but changing his facial features,
of course, yes,
in a way that made him look like him. And then I realized that his mouth has changed too, not just his eyes, because Bill Hader's eyes are very, very expressive.
Yeah.
And so you can, and any a great actor might be able to get you to watch their eyes and help. It was like what's his ass playing Andy Kaufman, Jim Carrey, where when you looked at his eyes, he had the buggy eyes twitching back and forth, and that was enough to draw you in.
Right.
And as the critics said, he channeled him.
Yes.
But when I realized I didn't.
It was super subtle, because the first time it happened, they put it on really soft. It just barely went by. The first time he said, and then Tom said to me, and it was super subtle. And then little by little, they went on putting it stronger and stronger, to the point where
it took him over.
It was just.
But it was Bill Hader's voice for the entire thing, which I think is important. Yes. As it was with Seth Rogen's, but
it was the original Obama clip, which I will include, and I will also send you, because you don't look at the show notes at happyhour.fm/020. That the original proof of concept of this technology, where they make Obama say whatever they want him to say, is just beyond, like, it's so clear that in 2 years we're going to have apps on our phones that are going to, because now we have these apps that can make us look like we have bunny ears and we're super cute with sparkles and whatnot. But in 2 years, we're going to be able to put on a thing where it looks like, oh, look, I'm Donald Trump, or look, I'm Beto O'Rourke, or President Warren, or whoever it is.
Right.
And we're going to be able to talk in our own voices and have what is recorded by the video being the voice of that other person in such a creepy way that you're not going to be able to believe if someone shares a video that says, oh, holy shit, President Warren just said that immigrants should all burn in hell. You can't trust that because the technology to reproduce video is going to be so... But then it's going to be hard to prove that what the actual people say are actually what they're saying. So they're going to have to like combat this in some way of being like, today on May 17th, I'm going to say the phrase this that appeared in the, you're going to have to do like encryption shit where you're going to be having to say, if I say this, then it must be the true me. But it's gonna get totally whack, or they're gonna have to like figure out some technology to show that they are the real person saying the real thing, in the same way that like in movies, you have people showing the kidnapped person with the current day's newspaper or whatever. We're gonna have to have that sort of level of...
Who's going to do that work? Who's going to do that work?
Who knows? I mean, the people in power are going to need to do that work to demonstrate that they aren't whatever is being made up by whatever. But I don't know. It's going to be complicated. It's we're entering, like, now we feel like we've entered into this fake news, no truth world. But in the years to come, it's going to get so much worse. Yeah. We're going to be able to look at videos where we are so confused about who's saying what. You're going to be able to have videos where it looks like the president was being attacked by somebody, and the president body flipped that person and won the day, and it's going to be totally fake. So
somehow the image of a President Trump backflipping is a little bit more laborious. All I can picture is that he would jump up to backflip and he would turn somehow magically into the fucking baby balloon that they fly around at events, showing him in a diaper.
Exactly. That's the work that has to be done by the video people to make it look like this obese motherfucker is capable of, and they can create whatever narrative they want. Because at that point, you can have whatever enemy group you want to, oh, look, this Mexican guy in this sombrero carrying a taco tried to come and kill the president. But the president, threw him down on the ground and, and slammed him down and killed him. It's like that sort of footage is going to be available. Like, that sounds so fucking ridiculous now. But I swear to God, in 2 years, in 2000... 21, we're going to have that sort of thing available and widely distributed because the people that want to distribute that as truth are going to.
Right. Hey, what was the fabulous bad lip syncing homework assignment you gave me, and I reported that my sound on my computer wasn't working? I'm not sure I listened. Wasn't it a Trump bad lip syncing?
Probably. There's the bad lip syncing YouTube channel.
Oh, with Kim Jong-un.
Oh God, yes. Fuck, that's good. Yes.
Right.
Later, I walked very slowly over to the DMV to meet my buddy KJ. Yeah.
What did you say to me?
Never mind, bud. Never mind, Bubby.
Resend that. You posted it, I'm sure, didn't you? Or you didn't because we never talked about it.
Well,
let's try that again.
I will send that to you, and I will post that in the show notes at the very bottom of the show notes because we're at the end of the episode. So, I think it's time to say goodbye, and may your amber desires be fulfilled.
St. James, amber beer, made proud to be drank proud. There ain't no beer like it. Good night, Eric.
Good night, Dennis. I love you, man. We'll talk later. If you've enjoyed what you just heard, you can support us by telling a friend or sharing us on social media. Monthly donations to help us pay for hosting and editing can be provided at patreon.com/happyhour. That's all one word, happy hour. All our episodes, including show notes for each episode, are available on our website, happyhour.fm. You can tweet at us at happyhour.fm. That's with a dot spelled out, happyhour.dotfm. Or we can receive email at the same name, happyhourdotfm@gmail.com. It would also be great if you could give us a positive rating on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. That really helps other people find us. See you next week.